Tonight, Troy singers show off their talents.
Plus, students pay tribute to hip-hop culture. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for March 27, 2013. I'm Deatra Montgomery.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Music is a common interest for several college students, and last night, Troy University's African American Alliance paid tribute to the style of hip-hop. There are several different types of music enjoyed by people all over the world, but Tuesday night, the Troy African American Alliance honored one specific genre.
We had a hip-hop summit at Troy University, and we just had a little flashback in the past where all was dressed in 90s hip-hop theme, and we all had 90s hip-hop music.
The hip-hop summit featured a variety of performers.
Us celebrating hip-hop in general, we had rappers, singers, a poet, and modeling troops.
One performer of the hip-hop summit was no stranger to the stage.
After I won Apollo Night, the guy who threw this performance asked me if I wanted to perform, and I told him I would perform in. And every time I get the chance to dance and show people my talent, I love it. It's enjoyable.
During the night, students were able to win door prizes by answering questions related to the history of hip-hop. One student says she was happy to learn trivia about hip-hop music.
The hip-hop that they listen to now is like a lot of it is related to the hip-hop back in the day. And so I thought it was really cool that they, give us a little culture behind what we listen to now.
Participants and organizers of the Hip Hop Summit said they were pleased with the performances and said they enjoyed being able to celebrate the genre of hip hop.
I thought it was a great show. We had a lot of people involved. We had great support from the campus, the students, and we were happy that everyone decided to come and be involved.
AAA encourages anyone who is interested in joining the organization to attend their Thursday meetings in the Trojan Center, room 119 at 5 p.m.
Over a month ago, students voted in the Student Government Association Executive Officers election, and today students went back to the polls to vote for the new SGA senators. There were with 2 seats for college to be voted on today. The Secretary of SGA says that even if you don't know anyone running in this election, it's important for you to exercise your right to vote.
Some students don't realize, but these are the senators who go and they make the policies that directly affect the student body. It's very important for students' voices to be heard because they're choosing the people who are going to represent them, who are going to stand up for them, speak for them, especially for those in the colleges, because these seats represent those and they speak to the professors for them, they speak to the deans.
Housing senators will be voted on in August when students return back to school. And last night, the collegiate singers and the concert chorale put on their last event for the spring semester.
That's right, Deatra, and this concert was the last note for one Troy director. Haley Greathouse has the story.
Tuesday night was the Spring Choral Showcase, a night of music performed by concert chorale and collegiate singers. Both groups prepare all semester to make sure the concert ends on a high note.
We started work before the semester even began. We started listening, and as soon as the semester started, we hit the ground running.
We meet during our normal class time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we slowly piece it all together.
We really just have 2 months to put this kind of program together, and it's very, very challenging.
And both directors feel that the students met that challenge.
It was a really great concert, very well attended, and I think the singers all just rose to the occasion and did a fabulous job.
I'm very pleased with the students and their performance this evening. They've worked very hard.
While no one could agree on a favorite song.
I love them all, but I think my favorite would have to be Lamentations of Jeremiah.
My favorite piece was Cindy.
My 2 favorite ones were the ones Una Lacrima, then the Polka S, which is the Northern Lights.
Everyone agreed that the hardest part of the concert was knowing it would be a farewell for one director.
This is my last spring concert with collegiate singers.
I've only had her for 1 semester, but she's a really sweet lady, and it's sad to see her go.
I know her personally, and she is a fantastic woman. She will definitely be missed.
It is kind of bittersweet. She's sort of like my daughter, but I know she'll do great things, and she's going to go very far.
And Miss Laura Mixon says she will miss the students the most.
I'm excited about what the future holds, but at the same time, I have made, long-lasting relationships and friendships working with these students, and it's just hard to leave them.
Haley Greathouse, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Up next for the School of Music will be a tribute concert to Dr. Johnny Long this Thursday at 7 in the Davis Theater in Montgomery.
And now taking that look at news from around the state. In Birmingham, U.S. Attorney officials say a former judicial candidate has been convicted of attempted child enticement and pornography charges. A federal jury convicted 59-year-old Chuck Hunter today of attempting to entice a minor and receiving child pornography over the internet.
And out of Montgomery, Alabama is now the only state that doesn't allow citizens to brew small amounts of beer or wine at home for personal use. Home brewing enthusiasts have been trying since 2009 to get the Alabama legislature to legalize what several thousands of people are already doing illegally. Some brewing bills have won approval from legislative committees and could come up for vote in the House or Senate soon.
And in Russellville, a man has been indicted on a murder charge in connection with a cold case killing that dates back more than 3 decades ago. The Florence Time-Daily reports that John Donald Smith of Russellville is accused of killing Larry Graham on February 16, 1980.
And still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan baseball team had their way with Auburn Tigers last night. Danielle Percival will be in with all your sports details coming up next.
But first, for the second day in a row, the Supreme Court is hearing a case dealing with same-sex marriage. We'll have that story and more after the break.
I'm Danielle Nottingham at the Supreme Court. Coming up, the justices hint they could strike down the Defense of Marriage Act.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra.
Thanks, Bailey. The demonstrators and the justices were back at the Supreme Court for the second of 2 same-sex marriage cases. Same-sex marriages are legal in 9 states and the District of Columbia. Today, the High Court indicated it could throw out a law that denies benefit to those couples. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from the Supreme Court.
Edith Windsor walked down the steps of the Supreme Court to cheers. The 83-year-old seemed optimistic about her challenge to the Defense of Marriage Act.
I think it's going to be good.
Windsor's path to the High Court started when her spouse Thea died, and she was hit with a $360,000 inheritance tax.
If Thea's name had been Theo, I would have paid no tax.
The 1996 law, known as DOMA, denies legally married same-sex couples access to more than 1,000 federal programs, including survivor benefits and the ability to file a joint tax return.
I think the court can't help but be affected by the way that this statute writes gay people and gay married couples out of the federal code.
The Obama administration sided with Windsor in this case and declined to defend DOMA in court. During arguments, 5 justices indicated they could strike down the law, but for different reasons. Justice Kennedy said DOMA appears to intrude on the power of states that allow same-sex marriages.
The question is whether or not the federal government, under our federalism scheme, has the authority to regulate marriage.
Some of the liberal justices said the law creates 2 classes of marriage. It's also possible the court could dismiss the case for procedural reasons. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
A British schoolgirl has died after a pack of dogs attacked her at a house in northern England. The dogs belonged to the girl's best friend. Lucy McDonald reports.
Friends are bringing flowers to the house where 14-year-old Jade Anderson was killed. Police say 4 dogs mauled her as she ate a meat pie at a friend's house in northern England.
She come in with pie and dogs went for it, and when it's went for it, it's got hold of her throat and it's just attacked her.
Signs at the house warn, beware of the dog. This bull mastiff named Neo is one of the dogs thought to have killed Jade. Police say the schoolgirl was covered in bite marks and bled to death.
She's a really strong girl. And everyone loved her.
Police fought off the out-of-control dogs before marksmen shot and killed them.
When I heard the gunshots, I came out to the door.
Dangerous dog attacks have spurred big political debate in Britain. Dog attacks cost the British Health Service nearly $5 million a year and have taken 9 lives since 2007. Politicians are calling for tougher measures on dog owners.
Some people are training their dogs to act in a very aggressive manner and almost using their dogs as a weapon. We don't have the facts in this particular case, but that is totally unacceptable.
Jade was staying with her friend's family as an Easter holiday treat. Her parents lived just a few streets away and came as soon as they heard.
She come on saying, "I want to see my daughter," and she just collapsed to the floor and in tears.
The grieving community has set up a Facebook page in her memory. Lucy McDonald for CBS News.
Researchers around the world are publishing more than a dozen studies that could help scientists pinpoint who is at risk for cancer. Marley Hall reports from New York on the findings.
Okay, and what stage are...
Felicia Harden Bradford never thought she would get breast cancer.
I had a breast sonogram, and then that's when they found that I had stage 0 cancer.
The 42-year-old didn't have a history of the disease in her family.
No one could explain to me why I was getting cancer if genetically, I wasn't set up.
Now, new research may be able to help identify people who are at increased risk for cancer before they get it. Scientists from around the globe have uncovered dozens of genes that could increase a person's chances of developing breast, ovarian, and prostate cancer.
It's all about predicting who might get cancer and avoiding the disease if at all possible. So that's the theme here. The genetics can actually identify who's at risk, and then we can catch the cancers very early or avoid them completely.
Scientists found 49 new markers for breast cancer, 23 genetic variations for prostate cancer, and 11 for ovarian cancer.
More than 100 research institutions worldwide were involved in this massive study, which looked at the DNA makeup of over 200,000 people.
While the findings are promising, doctors say it's just another piece to the puzzle for now.
The real test is whether or not you can find treatments from identifying these genes to see if this is really going to make a clinical significance.
Scientists hope their findings will lead to new diagnostic tests within the next 5 to 10 years. Marley Hall for CBS News, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Deatra. And now Daniel Percival joins us for a look at sports. So, Danielle, action-packed night for Trojan Athletics last night. The baseball team was in action at home, and you have some good news about their team.
Well, that's right, Bailey. It was a chilly night out at the ballpark, but for those Trojan fans who braved the cold, they certainly got their money's worth. So let's take a look.
Sounds good.
The Trojans showed Big Brother how it's supposed to be done last night. Taylor Burke shows us why the Auburn Tigers aren't big fans of playing the Trojans.
The Trojans had won 4 of its last 5 games, and the Auburn Tigers had lost 6 of its last 8 games as the two teams met at Riddle Pace Field on a chilly Tuesday night. The streaks for both teams continued thanks in part to a Troy pitching staff that has struck out 41 batters over the last 4 games, including 14 strikeouts against Auburn, and a Trojan offense that has knocked in 10 or more runs 9 times this season. Troy dominated the Auburn Tigers 11-2.
Whenever you get that kind of pitching, you're going to have a chance to win the ball game, and they made a couple of mistakes. Auburn did a couple of errors that I really thought hurt them. But a good offensive team's got to capitalize on those mistakes. We were able to do that and have a couple of really big innings.
It's always a big game against Auburn, so just came out trying to do anything I can to get on base. We're just scrapping right now. Just kind of waiting for everything to click, and and hopefully that's going to happen soon.
On the mound for the Trojans was Ryan Sorsey, who's making his first start since 2001 following Tommy John surgery. Sorsey struck out a career-high 8 batters and allowed just 1 earned run over 5 innings of work.
Couldn't ask for a better start. My first start in over 2 years, so I didn't know how fresh my arm would be coming out of the pen. The most I threw in the game was probably like 2-3 innings, so but I mean, I went a lot farther than what I thought I would.
Well, he's pitched well building up to tonight, and he is a starting pitcher in his background, but off of the Tommy John, we've kind of eased him back in the bullpen role. Gave him a start tonight, and he threw pretty doggone good for us.
For the 3rd consecutive game, Troy scored 10 or more runs to pick up a victory. The Trojans took advantage of 4 Tiger errors to score 11 runs on 10 hits, exploding for 5 runs in the 5th inning and 4 runs in the 8th inning.
I think we just put a lot of work in the fall, shortening down our swings, and I know personally I've always been at a point where if I'm not feeling my swing, I'm not hitting well at all. And because we're short, because we're compact, we still have a chance no matter what's happening to compete up there and really give it our best shot every at bat.
Taylor Burke, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojans will be in action at home again this weekend, but hopefully with a little warmer welcome. Temperatures are expected to be higher this weekend when Middle Tennessee comes to town for a 3-game series. And the women's golf team finished competition at the John Kirk Panther Intercollegiate Tuesday and finished in 7th place. Sophia Bjorkman was the top performer for the women, tying for 15th after a 54-hole total of 239. Sydney Conrad had the big jump in the standings from day 1 to day 2, moving up 12 spots in the standings after a 3rd round 77, which was Troy's best round of the tournament. And the tournament was played under less than ideal conditions with strong winds throughout, and only 1 player was able to shoot under par. The women will be in action again at the Rebel Intercollegiate at Ole Miss April 5th and 6th. And the Trojan men's tennis team took to the court this afternoon against UAB, looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. The Trojans entered the match at 7-10 overall and 3-1 at home and had won 6 straight prior to their losing streak. UAB came in at 13-9 after going 1-2 in a tournament last weekend. The Blazers were up early on the Trojans, but Troy was fighting to make a comeback. However, the Blazers were too much for the Trojans to handle, and the Trojans lost. The men will be in action this weekend at the Middle Tennessee Shootout in Murfreesboro, taking on South Alabama in their first match on Saturday. And if you thought conference realignment was beginning to slow down, think again. The Sun Belt will be welcoming in 4 new members with announcements this week that Georgia Southern, Appalachian State, Idaho, and New Mexico State will be joining the conference. Idaho and New Mexico State will be football-only schools and will remain independent until 2014. App State and Georgia Southern will be making the transition from FCS to FBS, but will be full-fledged conference members in all sports but football in 2014 and become eligible for the Sun Belt Football Championship and Bowl games in 2015. So much for that geographical footprint, unless we're going for Bigfoot. So Deatra, Bailey, interesting to see how everything is shaping up as far as the conference is concerned, but congratulations to the baseball team last night taking down Auburn. That's always a big game for the Trojans.
Absolutely, congratulations. A well-deserved win and definitely a big game.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Danielle. And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll hear from a teacher retiring after 26 years of teaching at Troy University.
Plus, yesterday and last night we experienced chilling temperatures, but today felt almost like spring. Our warm temperatures headed our way. Courtney?
Well, Bailey, it looks like spring temperatures are headed our way just in time for Easter weekend. I'll have more details coming up next in weather.
Decided I wanted to go back to graduate school, and I was looking for a college that would be able to accommodate shift work and family life, and the Troy schedule fit in very well with my lifestyle.
On campus or online, Troy offers you in-demand degrees sought after by the law enforcement community. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Stephanie Birch. I'm a Deputy Chief of Police, and having that degree from Troy is what allowed me to be who I am today.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt. I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
So Courtney, visual-wise, it's been very pretty, very sunny outside. Temperature-wise, very chilly. What can we expect for the rest of the week?
You know, Bailey, Deatra, it really seems like our weather just can't make up its mind if it wants to be hot or if it wants to be cold. But luckily, it looks like it should be warming up just a little bit by the time we go into our Easter weekend. So if you're having any traveling, it should be a little bit warmer. But I'll have more details coming on that later on. First, let's take a look at our current conditions. Looking at our current conditions today, we experienced mostly sunny skies. Temperature coming in at 78, dew point at 22. Humidity at 26%, barometer coming in at 30.29 and steady, and winds coming in from the northwest at 9 miles per hour. Looking at today's statistics, we had a high of 58, low of 34. There was no rain. The sunrise was at 6:38 a.m. and the sun should set around 7 o'clock tonight. And now taking a look at temperatures from around the state. For the most part, everyone is experiencing temperatures into the 50s with the exception of Phoenix City, seeing temperatures in the 40s still. Most everyone is seeing sunny skies today. We have Mobile coming in at 58, Birmingham 56, Huntsville at 52, Montgomery at 59, Troy at 58, Phoenix City at 49, and Dothan at 60. So Dothan's seeing the temperatures a little bit warmer than what we are. Taking a bigger look at the southeast, seeing a wide variety of temperatures all the way from in the 50s and the 60s. But if we look towards the west, parts of Texas are seeing warmer temperatures into the 70s. Hopefully we can see some of those temperatures move into our area in the next couple of days. Looking at temperatures from around the United States, we're complaining about temperatures into the 50s, where if we travel a little farther up north, they're still seeing temperatures in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, so it's really chilly up north. Looking at our current surface map for the United States, we see a stationary front in the western part of the United States not having a whole lot of effect on our area right now. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But if we look closer into our area, we see this high-pressure system developing in Mississippi, which has the potential to move into our area in the next few days. Going into our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours. Shouldn't be a whole lot of rain in our area, but if you happen to be getting a head start on some traveling for the weekend, if you're going to be traveling any farther west, I'd be careful. Just be on the lookout for a little bit of light rain. Be careful as you're traveling. Going into tomorrow's forecast, shouldn't be a whole lot of rain in our area. Should have a very clear day tomorrow. Going into Friday's forecast to start off our weekend, shouldn't be a whole lot of rain in our area, but if you're going to be traveling any farther up north into the northern part of Alabama or Mississippi, there is a chance for some light rain there. Saturday's forecast in the middle of our weekend should remain pretty clear in our area. We do see this band of showers starting to form, which has potential to move into our area. Closing out our weekend on Sunday, that band of showers has moved into our area. Could be experiencing anywhere up to an inch to 3 inches of rain in our area for Sunday to close out our weekend. So if you're going to be doing traveling, just make sure that you're careful. Going into tonight's forecast, should see clear skies. Going to be a really cool night. Going to be a little bit warmer than it was last night. Light and variable winds coming in from the northwest at 4 miles per hour with a low of 34. So if you happen to be outside, make sure you have a blanket or a jacket on hand because it is going to be very chilly tonight. Moving into tomorrow's forecast, sunny skies should have light and variable winds coming in from the north at 5 miles per hour with gusts up to 10 to 12 miles per hour tomorrow with the high of 68. So tomorrow should be a little bit warmer than what we experienced today. We're going into our 4-day forecast. We have Thursday with a high of 67, low of 42. Friday high of 72, low of 50. Saturday high of 74 and a low of 55. Sunday with a high of 73. For the most part, we should see sunny skies throughout our area. And Sunday that we do have a 40% chance of rain as of right now. So Deatra, Bailey should see clear skies to go finishing out our weekend, starting off our weekend. That 40% chance of rain has moved back in on Sunday. We'll have to keep an eye on that, see if it goes down, if it becomes any greater.
All right. Thanks so much, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney.